Right, welcome back or welcome to the channel. This is going to be the second How to Fitness, and we're going to start off by talking about a little story of a guy who comes to the place I work. We talk about gym a little bit, but we don't go to the gym together. But either way, he comes into work and he says, "Wow, I've just started this new supplement stack, I just say, "What's the supplement stack?" I'm interested. I'm interested in supplements in general because I always find it funny what people take and why. He's like the Thanos collecting the Infinity Stones. He's got the gauntlet made of just useless snake oil, which is quite funny to me. So I'll give the list not in the order he gave it, but in the order that stood out to me. He says turkestrone. It's not like testosterone, but he's taking turkestrone. He's right. It's nothing like testosterone because it does nothing. The only thing it's got going for it is that it sounds like testosterone because it's got the esterone at the end of the name. That's the only good thing about testosterone, is that it's perfectly marketable because of its name. Um, that's the only reason anyone sells it, because they're ecdy steroids, plant steroids. It's got the word steroid in it, so it will just sell. It's not a new thing. It's been a thing for time. Um, I don't think 7 years ago when I started bodybuilding it was a thing, or maybe it just wasn't in rotation because it's sort of like the Ecclesiastes style that there's nothing new under the sun. And it's just almost like in the supplement industry and the fitness industry, it's true to say that there's nothing new coming out, but they just need to keep recycling content and ideas because that way they can have the word new in the title of the video, and they can get it under a new set of eyes at least anyway, and sell it to more people in the next generation, so they can just dig up things like ecdy steroids and then find something like testosterone to sell to people who are gullible. But it does nothing. And the thing is, it does nothing is a is actually a true statement, but it's a false statement, because in the sense that the second that you tap your card to buy something, the placebo effect's underway because you've paid money for it. So now you're going to want to get results out of it. That's just how it works. When you've tapped your card, when you've shelled out cash, things work. And that's the crazy part about a placebo is, especially with something that's not cheap like testosterone, and it seems a bit, premium and new, and it's got the name that goes with it, and it shows up in a little bottle with branding and this bold text, and maybe it even shows up in those little packets with the metal like pills where you have to pop them out. It seems really official and pharmaceutical and like, wow, this is going to be some crazy intense gains kind of thing. And that's how the placebo effect gets you. Because once you've parted money with something, you're going to try and make it work. You're going to try and get your bang for your buck. So you might just end up tricking yourself into actually progressively overloading and actually making progress, because you're there like, oh, I'm taking testosterone or turkestrone, sorry, or whatever it is you say you're taking that you've just paid money for. So you push yourself a bit harder and you get results. And it's not coming from the testosterone. So the guy whose affiliate link you've clicked, who's getting a nice fat wallet out of it, while you're, nickel and diming yourself for a supplement that does nothing, you are actually making progress, which is really awkward, because the psychology side of it's there like, if you didn't waste your money on it, you wouldn't make the progress. So it's placebo's been proven like so many times in double blind trials, but it's one of those where I don't think people give it the credit it has. The second, even with coaching, I think this is one of those ones, a bit controversial, but the second people sign up to these sort of like transformation things and these coaching things, and they part way with their hard-earned money to get a coach, they're going to put more work in than if they hadn't shelled out, 200 quid for that month, or £1,000 for that boot camp or transformation, whatever the price is. The second that you've part ways with it, you're going to try and get your money's worth. You're actually going to put in the effort. So it could just be a case that everyone who's willing to pay for coaching, who isn't just like mega affluent and wealthy, and they've already committed a substantial amount of money, which takes time to get, which takes effort to get. They've worked for the money, so they've already invested that amount of effort. So they're like, I might as well go all the way. I've spent the money. I might as well listen to the coach. I might as well actually do what they say, do the work, because otherwise I'm doing a disservice to all the money I've handed over, and I'll waste my money. So in that way, it's like when people are there like, oh look, we've got loads of before and after transformations, and everyone who comes to us, they all make progress. It's there like, is that is that a you thing, or is that just people who spend money on coaching thing? Is that like a trait that emerges? Same with like expensive universities. Everyone, they're like, oh, people who go to Harvard become successful, and they're like, well, is Harvard just not hiring people that are rich, sociable, already doing well to do? And these are people who, regardless of their education, would make progress. And it's the same in the coaching. It's regardless of your input, the people who've already spent the money are going to listen to whatever, so they'll make progress. It doesn't matter how good you are of a coach. If you tell somebody to go on a deficit and they do, and you tell someone to lift weights and they do, and you tell someone to do something and they do, because they've spent money, they're not going to be like, I've spent a significant portion of my month's income on coaching, and then I'm just not going to listen to it and I'm not going to follow it. It's that like, why would you do that to yourself? So in that vein, that's what the testosterone in that guy's little cycle does for him. Supplement stack, sorry, not a cycle, but he's already spent the money. He might as well put the work in, and he might as well try and progressively overload as if he had some next level power. So that's how it works, really. The placebo on that end, but the rest of his stack, he's got his testosterone doing nothing other than a magic placebo. He had BCAAs, which are, I mean, just eat more food, eat more protein, and you should be good. Get enough protein in, you don't need BCAAs. BCAAs are just trash. You should just take EAAs, which are the essential amino acids, i.e. the ones your body can't make. So like essential means your body can't make them. The other ones your body can convert other amino acids into the branch chained ones, but the essential ones your body can't. So you might as well take the essential ones. Just get the right one out of the gate. Don't take BCAAs, take EAAs, and you don't even need to take EAAs. But if you did, the only real reason you would, or the only time there would be need for them, is like if you're doing fasted cardio on a deep cut. First thing in the morning, you might get some muscle sparing effect from taking EAAs with your fasted cardio, and then same way if you're in a cut and you're weight training, taking your EAAs while you train, maybe might spare some muscle, but like if you're not in a really deep deficit, you shouldn't need to spend your hard-earned money on EAAs, and definitely not BCAAs. So not the worst, not the best. I mean, it's not as trash as testosterone by any means, but still a bit dodgy. And then bro says, I'm taking something that stops the lactic acid pain while I train. So he doesn't even know the name of the supplement. He just says the sort of the marketing subtext of what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to stop the lactic acid pain when you train. I'm not sure what mechanism of action he means by this. As in, is there no lactic acid buildup when you've just got like infinite endurance, or is it just like masking the pain? But then I'm asking him, and I was like, oh, what's it called? Is it taurine? Is the first question I asked. He's like, yeah, I think it's taurine. And I'm like, okay, cool. So it's just like, if you're just going to say that you're taking something, and the first thing you say is like the headline marketing gimmick of it, like fair enough, bro. But I mean, I don't know if taurine's going to do that intra workout. I mean, taurine might help a little bit with lower back pumps and stuff like that. I've seen that be recommended, but I've tried taurine for lower back pumps. Does absolutely nothing. So I don't know. I don't know enough about taurine, but I just put that straight in the trash. To be fair, it's very cheap actually for the dosage that's recommended, like a teaspoon in your intra workout, and the bags are like pennies when they're on sale. So it could just be a waste of money, but it could be such a small amount of money that I don't think you're even going to get that magic placebo effect like you would from the testosterone, because it doesn't go over that threshold of investment kind of thing in your head. And then he says he's taking, or in the stack, he's got clear whey isolate and pure whey isolate. So that sounds like stuff from My Protein or bulk powders, the whole clear whey thing, where it's like a drink and you can see through it, and it's more like a squash flavor or a orange juice flavor or a strawberry drink flavor kind of thing, the isolate things. And it's sort of like easy 20 grams of protein that you can just sip throughout the day. Cool, I guess. I mean, food exists. And this clear whey isolate stuff isn't actually that cheap compared to like just whey isolate, or not even as cheap as whey concentrate. Whey concentrate's like the harder to digest, cheap one, and whey isolate's like the easy to digest, like mid tier one, and then like pure whey and other stuff like that's like more expensive but easier to digest. So I just go with the second from the bottom one, and if you can't digest that, then move up. But just start on the cheaper stuff. If you don't get any issues with digestion or like bloating or gut or wind or anything, just stay there and save your money, really. Um, But this clear whey isolate stuff, like tip of the top, super expensive compared to everything else. And it doesn't even list the breakdown of the amino acids. Like it's not telling you the leucine content or any of these sort of things. It's like on the website, I thought that would just have to be like mandatory, but we were talking in the Discord a little bit about why is this stuff not listed. It's kind of important information because we do sort of have a bias towards the, at least the amino acid breakdown. Some people do. I'm not too fussed, but I would quite like my leucine in there, and at least to know how much is in there. And it ain't said in this clear whey isolate stuff, so we're just positing that the process to make this stuff and make it so water soluble and look so clear and taste like a little drink, it might be coming at the expense of a proper amino acid profile, or at least a really good competitive one. So that's something to look out for. So maybe the clear whey isolate could be a bit of a bogus one where it's like really expensive and it's actually a worse quality source of your whey because of the way that it's been processed. I know I've said the word whey twice there, but WHEY and WAY, I'm sure you understood the context. But then he says he's got his pure whey isolate. I mean, this in a supplement stack, I mean, this is great. Like the clear whey isolate, I can kind of sniff at the idea of like, oh, I'm going to sip on my little protein shake and get an extra 20 grams all throughout the day. It's like, just eat it in meals, like, the 5 meal a day, 6 meal a day. The fact that you're just like slowly ingesting protein throughout the day just seems just so silly. Like, it's not going to make your muscle protein synthesis just like crazy shoot through the roof in your Arnold Schwarzenegger in a week. It's one of them where you're just probably going to be like suffering unnecessarily by drinking something that tastes awful. Maybe doesn't have the best amino acid profile, maybe goes off like stinky drinky kind of stuff. Like imagine just carrying around like 2 liters of milk and chugging that over a whole day. Like obviously it's going to get a little bit stanky after the whole day. So I just eat your food kind of vibe. But with the pure whey isolate one, it's like, this is good. This is the good stuff, because whey on a whole, when they did that little test and they rate 100 as being the score for egg whites, and then whey protein is like 140 because it's just like so quality in terms of protein and digestion. That's kind of where whey is in my mind. It's good stuff. I've seen the sort of like the based the based the based community, like the carnivores and the paleo dieters saying like, oh, it's whey protein, more like waste protein. It's a byproduct of milk, and it's just like, oh my god, just like yappa 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 yappa. It's proven to be good. It digests good. The only problem I can see with it is it digests very quickly, as in the absorption rate of whey is so high that it could be that if you have like a 4 hour window or more between some whey and that's your only source of protein in the meal, then the 4 hour window you might be like missing some muscle protein synthesis for that little bit. So like maybe if you have whey as the only source of protein in a meal, you need like a shorter window between the next protein feeding. Instead of like a 3 hour, 4 hour window, you could do like a 2 hour, 3 hour window. But like you could just do a bit of whey as one part of the protein source for the meal and a bit of something else as the other part, because I think balance is the most important thing. Your whole diet shouldn't just be whey, rice, veg, and I don't know, what's the best source of fat? Because if I'm going to say rice is the best source of carb for digestion, white rice, and whey is the best source of protein for digestion, like pure whey isolate or whey isolate, then who would be the best, easiest fat? It would have to be like a poly unsaturated or a mono unsaturated plant fat. So something like an almond, like almonds. Almonds are pretty goated. Almond butter. So if you had like, yeah, that would be it. If you were to make like the most baby food kind of diet, it would just be rice, whey, and almond butter mixed up. You got your carbs, your fats, your proteins there. You can't just have that 6 times a day to fit your macros. What a shame, because you'll be missing out on the micronutrients, and the absorption rates of those foods are going to be pretty quick, even if you have loads and loads of that almond butter, because fats slow down the digestion of other things a little bit, quite a bit. Depends how much fat you have. If you have a huge bolus fat meal, like 100 grams, all of those carbs are waiting in line for that fat to digest. So you need to keep that in mind. So maybe the problem I raise there, where I say, oh, whey's absorption rate's quite quick, so the protein might, spike up and then dip down, and you'll be missing a bit of muscle protein synthesis between your feedings. Might not be true if you've got plenty of fat in your diet, and that will slow down the digestion of the protein. not by much. If you're not having much, by a lot. If you are having a lot, it's sort of dose dependent with the fats. But I just argue that whey's great. Whey's great. The one thing I liked in his little stack, if you can even call it a stack, the whey is good. This this is the way, baby. That's what I was saying. The way is the way. But sort of like I'd say let's keep this to like 25% of the diet from stuff like whey. 25, if you're going to eat 5 meals in a day, I'd say you'd want at least 4 or 5 different protein sources. So you could do 2 lots of whey and then 3 different other protein sources, and that would be your 4 if you had 5 meals a day. Or if you did 6 meals a day, you could do 2 lots of whey and then another 4, and that would be 5 protein sources. But yeah, I'd say like stick to like 4 or 5 protein sources. And if you're really struggling to find stuff you can afford and digest, I mean, I wouldn't go and have like more than 2 meals a day that are just like pure whey protein or pure casein, because casein's like harder to digest for most people. I never really had an issue with casein, but I also never really had a love for it because I didn't feel like any extra effects came. But it's just like slightly less enjoyable, slightly stodgier, makes the drink a lot thicker. And I mean, I don't really care about flavor or texture or anything. I'll eat dog food if I need to, but it's one of them where it's like it's not as cheap casein, I don't think, as whey, or at least I didn't find it as cheap. Maybe it is cheaper, but it's really slow digestion casein is. So you can't really chug that pre-workout or post-workout and get any magic absorption rate around the window peri-workout. So it would be more like a casein before bed kind of vibe, because apparently it creates like a little layer on your gut, not your gut, your stomach lining. Casein does some business in your stomach that makes it slow to digest. So before bed, I can see a case for casein. If you're really pedantic, before bed, I can see a good case for any kind of dairy product that isn't whey, as in yogurt, Greek yogurt, skyr yogurt, any kind of that stuff that's high protein, um, that isn't just like cheap crap with the word high protein on it, as in like actual real food. Because high protein is a code for on the label for marketing. High protein, high sugar, loads of shit, and a high price as well. So I just stick to like real stuff, like actual Greek yogurt, actual skyr yogurt that doesn't say high protein on the label because that's cringe. And it's usually more expensive, and it's usually higher in sugar, and it's got your little baby flavorings in like vanilla flavored and strawberry flavored. Just like man up and eat the real food in the real flavor. Cottage cheese, that one's popping off. I'm not sure why, because like as I said, there is nothing new in this world, and cottage cheese is back, even though it's been a thing for ages. I was in the gym years ago, and somebody was eating cottage cheese post workout in the changing room, and I was like, "What the hell is that? That looks like it's gone off. It smells like it's gone off. It looks like yogurt that's gone wrong." Cottage cheese does, but it's fire. To be fair, if you like it, um, the texture's the issue for a lot of people because it's kind of like clumpy and watery at the same time. But just like mix it and eat it, and just man up, I guess. Just put some dirt on it and eat your cottage cheese if it fits, if it works, if it's in your diet. Just eat it. Um, and I'm on about like preference a lot of the time. Preference for most people is about flavor and texture and how much they enjoy food, but if we're going on like a food is fuel thing, low fat cottage cheese is a bit more expensive than low fat Greek yogurt. So just go with the Greek yogurt because it's the cheaper one. And we're here to get big, but we're not here to go broke, are we? So if you can do good on your wallet and on your gains at the same time, that's what we're always looking to do. That's why I say testosterone's a scam, even though everyone's going to fight tooth and nail to sell it. The people who make the progress on it are the ones with the affiliate links, with the 20% discount codes, who are just selling it. And I think you always just need to look at that before you buy something. Is am I right now being sold something? Like, I know that's not to say that everything you buy is a scam, but a lot of the time when it's there, like add to cart, add to cart, add to cart, and then you go and they're like, oh yeah, I know a guy who's got his discount code to get me 10% off on this. It's there like, what's in your cart? What's in the most recent stuff that's been circulating on the internet? Everyone's been talking about. Digestion is one thing loads of people are talking about, and I mean, It's just going to be a case that they're going to sell you pills that they say help with your digestion because it's a buzzword and it's a topic of importance, and it's not a new thing at all. Obviously, people have been working on their digestion for years, but instead of addressing it with like a balanced diet and a good whole food based diet, they'll just be like, oh, here's a pill that fixes your digestion. Same with sleep and chronotypes. They're all like, oh, sleep's so important for your gains. Here's a pill to put you to sleep quicker or get you more restful sleep or more REM sleep, more deep sleep, whatever. They'll put any buzzwords and anything that they want that's in the current circuit, the current lineup that rotates as and when new supplements need to be sold, and new products can come out, with the tape on your nose and the melatonin or anything that sounds like melatonin, or the digestion, anything that sounds sort of like it could help with those things. Anything with a name that sounds related to the thing, like testosterone sounds like testosterone and ecdie steroids sound like steroids, they're just going to sell it to you. So if you're there adding stuff to your cart and it's just a bunch of marketing buzzwords, but you get 10% off, you're probably just getting ripped off, like straight up to the point. Like, this guy's a teenager and he comes to me and he says he's got a new supplement stack, and the only thing that's good value for money is the whey isolate in there. Like, Germany, like, he's going broke. Basically, he's going broke and he's not going home. He's not going hard. He's not getting big. He's just spending his money, or his parents' money, or someone's money on something, fattening the wallets of people who are scamming him. And instead of spending the money on a whole food diet, getting some real food, like, that stuff's not cheap, and that could go towards bulking up the weak shop instead of it having the really, really cheapo options. He could get some nice frozen veg, he could get some nice frozen fruit, he could get some nice frozen chicken breasts. These are all the cheap essentials. Frozen veg, your broccoli and your spinach, those are the really cheapo ones, and those are great. Frozen spinach is like £1 a kilo. Frozen broccoli is £1 a kilo in Aldi and Lidl. Frozen chicken breasts £4.25 for a kilo in like every supermarket, but I'd go to Sainsbury's because it's got less water in it. If you read the back of your frozen chicken breast, in Aldi and Lidl, it's 82% chicken, 18% water. In Sainsbury's, it's 85% chicken. I know, 3%, big difference, but it's still £4.25. That's shrinkflation for you. Other frozen stuff, whitefish fillets, they're £2.49 for 520 grams in Sainsbury's and Aldi, and then they're £4.79 for a kilo in Lidl. So just buy them in Lidl. I think they're all the same price, but Lidl just sells them in kilo bags, and it's quite handy to have just a kilo of whitefish that you can put in the frying pan or defrost overnight, or just follow the cooking instructions. I'm not a chef, but that's the cheap. Those are your cheap meats. Your chicken breast, your whitefish fillets. That's the cheapest meat you can get. That you can cook. If you want stuff that you don't need to cook, you can go even cheaper. You can get canned tuna from Aldi, Lidl, Sainsbury's for 55p for a can. So I think that drained weight is about 100 grams. So like 2 cans is easily a meal. So that's like 55p. What? That's like a £1.10 for the meat for a meal. You've got mackerel, tinned mackerel in Home Bargains and B&M. That's like £1, and that's a huge portion of mackerel. It's 420 grams net weight, 220 grams dry weight when you drain it, get rid of the brine. So I mean, that's super cheap. These are money saving tips. These are the things that this kid doesn't know that he needs to know, because when he's building a supplement stack, sorry to skip the advert there on the music I'm listening to. He's building a supplement stack and he's spending like £100. That's 100 tins of mackerel. That's a lot of gains there, boy. That's a lot of gains on the table. That's 25 bags of chicken that you could have been eating. That's 25 kilos of chicken. Are you kidding me? And you're wasting that on a supplement stack. You would be huge if you ate properly on the budget. So just look at those cheap protein sources: the tinned fish, the tinned tuna, the tinned mackerel. There's £1.60 tinned wild salmon, wild pink salmon in Lidl and Aldi and Sainsbury's as well. I'm pretty sure it's like £1.60 for like a 200-gram tin of salmon. I know salmon's good stuff, and it's wild. And then there's sardines as well. They're like 50p, Aldi and Lidl, in sunflower oil, bit of an L in tomato sauce, whatever. They're like 55p. So you've got your cheap tinned fish. You've got your cheap tin fish that can staple up some of those. You know how I said 5 different protein sources? You can get that from the tins. I mean, obviously, 5 different protein sources. I'd count tinned fish as one type of source, so you wouldn't just have like mackerel, tuna, sardine, salmon as your 4 sources. I'd just bunch all the fish up together because they're very similar. So you've got like tinned fish, and then you've got like white fish, and then you've got like white meat, as in like white chicken meat, so like chicken breast and stuff, I'd say is one source. But I wouldn't like, if you're going to eat chicken breast, chicken thighs, chicken drum and sort of stuff and say, oh, that's three different sources. It isn't. It's all chicken. So just like keep it within the family of the meat. So, tinned fish, chicken, white fish. Uh, I mean, red meat, that's quite expensive. I mean, obviously, I'm listing the budget business here, but the whey isolate's cheap, the white fish is cheap, the chicken's cheap, the tinned fish is cheap. You can make a diet as a teenager, as I did, pretty cheap with your pocket money. If you unfortunately not getting pocket money, just just get yourself a part-time job and get the money for it. Because I mean, like, a lot of people are there like, oh, I just eat what mum makes me, and I did too when I was starting out. I did just eat because obviously no money. What are you, 12 years old or 15 years old, like however old you are? I was 15, 16 when I started. Obviously I'm not like full-time employed and I've got expendable income to fuel this meat market. It's like, what are you going to eat? And obviously somebody at some point, especially this kid with his supplement stack, or this teenager, I should say, he must have pulled some strings to spend however much. I'd guess it's over £100 from what it sounded like. Testosterone, taurine, BCAAs, clear whey isolate. Like, obviously it might have been in the big 80% my protein sale or 80% bulk powder sale that went on, or it could have been some on sale discount business, but it sounded like a good £100 worth of stuff. So like, if he really shaved that down and just bought like a 5 kilo bag of the whey isolate, he'd have been way better off. That would have gone way more bang for the buck. If he'd have bought real food, that would have gone way better off, way more bang for the buck. So I think a lot of the time when people are just trying to sell you stuff, they're not really bothered about your wallet or your best interests. They're just trying to get the product shifted, get that affiliate link clicked. And it's the same with cream of rice. That's everywhere now. Cream of rice, cream of rice, cream of rice. They can't help themselves, but put that affiliate link, that 20% off. And then whenever they do a full day of eating, they'll have like 2 meals of cream of rice and whey. And it's, they're like, oh, here's the link for the whey, and here's the link for the cream of rice, and click the link and you can eat like me and you can look like me, kind of thing. It's just like, guys, just save your money. Don't buy cream of rice. Buy white rice and blend it, and you have white rice flour, and then you make it just the same as you would with cream of rice. We're here to save money. Yes, it might not taste as good, but it's actually probably healthier because now it's not got all those additives and sweeteners and other chemicals in it that make it taste like whatever the hell they say it tastes like. Just eat it. Just eat the food unflavored. The white rice flour in the microwave with some water, and scran that before you train like I do, and you'll be saving money. I think like I buy like a 20 kilo, pretty sure it's a 20 kilo bag of white rice. Like, that's gonna last a lot longer than the little 2 kilos or 1 kilo's bag of cream of rice you buy. And it's one of them where, as I need it, I blend it up, and if I don't need to blend it up, then I can just boil it and eat rice. Like, rice is the best carb source. It's so cheap. It's not even like, the thing is, like, when the word cheap comes out, like, obviously I mean affordable, but like, cheap isn't bad and affordable isn't bad. It doesn't mean it's low quality. It digests fine on my stomach. If you can't handle rice, you can handle other stuff that's affordable and cheap, and you don't need to go shell out for all of these fancy schmancy carb sources. The carb sources in the diet should be like the cheapest thing, really. Like, they're definitely, carbs are definitely cheaper than proteins, and fats are definitely cheaper than proteins. But like, good quality fats can be very expensive. Good quality proteins can be very expensive. But it doesn't mean that everything that's affordable is like low quality, and everything that's like cheap and whatever is just like trash. But that's the way it's marketed to people. They think low price, low quality, and that's just not the way it is. And with the whey, the whey is actually, whey isolate is very cheap per portion, per serving. If you compare how many grams of protein you get for the bang for your buck, it's pretty competitive. It's like £1 a serving, for 2 scoops. If you get a big bag on discount, 5 kilos on and 80% off. So I can see that as like it's actually a high quality source of protein, and it's a low price. But you can't be eating your whole diet with that as the main source. And That's just unfortunate because if you could, you would, and you'd be saving a lot of money. Maybe you should if you really, if you're really, 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 really tight belted on the budget. That might be what you have to do. But with the cream of rice, it's not cheap. Um, it might be tasty, it might be all these magic things that people say, but compared to white rice flour or just white rice or however else you want to cut it, like when these bags are like £20 for a kilo, obviously use code whatever for 20% off, and it's £18 a bag. For I think it's 2 kilos you get. Is it 2 kilos for £20? So it's £10 for a kilo. It's like super duper expensive compared to white rice. Super duper expensive. You don't even have to buy white rice flour. You can just buy white rice and blend it, and ta-da, you've got white rice flour. That's how it goes, magic. But I just feel like it's just so dishonest to suggest that you need to have like your diet consist of like foods that you can buy with a discount code, if that makes any sense. Like the second it goes from like a supplement thing to like an actual like daily diet staple diet plan build around thing, I feel like that's a lot more predatory because obviously the supplements are just an adjunct to making progress in the gym, and the diet and the training and the sleep are like the most important things, the three pillars. So when they start like trying to dictate like the food you eat and the food you buy, and then you get that from them with their discount code, it's like, don't know, it seems a bit dodgy. If like your whole diet is 20% off, use code whatever, it's there like, I don't know, it just rubs me the wrong way. I'd rather your no pun intended, I'd rather your diet was mainly from, veg, fruit, whole foods, real meat. Uh, if you're vegan or vegetarian, however you get your protein in with your tofus and your seitans and everything made of soya and your tempehs, those sorts of things instead. I'm not even going to go and break down the fact that they've got worse absorption and amino acid profiles. Everyone knows that. Vegans know that. They don't care about that. They're more interested in the ethics and the health side of it and the lowering of the cholesterol, which hey, fair enough, more power to you. Most people just take statins, so at least you're up on that front. But no, you need your proper vegetables, your proper fruit. You can buy them frozen. They're very cheap. Frozen fruit, frozen veg. You might think, oh, it's cheaper, it's worse quality. Other way around, the frozen stuff keeps the freshness longer because it's not there going off on the shelf, so it's got a longer shelf life, so it doesn't need to be as expensive because it's not going off all the time. So it's actually fresher. You just need to get over the fact that it might be a bit texturally worse. Texture. The texture of the frozen stuff from defrosted is a bit worse than the fresh stuff, and maybe the flavor's a bit worse than the fresh stuff. But like at the price difference, it's like who cares about the texture and the flavor? We're getting in those micronutrients, and I don't know where this rumor that like microwaving stuff destroys the nutrients in it. That's just not true. That's straight cap. Apparently, it's actually preserves it better than frying it and boiling it and stuff like that. So, I don't know who the hell started that rumor, like Big Oven, or like who started the anti-microwave rumor. Was it Big Oven, or was it like big fresh fruit, and like the fresh fruit industry and the fresh veg industry and the fresh meat industry is like against the frozen stuff idea, and it's like big freezer versus big fridge, and it's like big microwave versus big oven. I've got no idea, but like microwaving frozen stuff does not destroy the nutrient content in it or the macro content in it or any which way that you want to cut it. If it did, I'd be small because I microwave everything from frozen. I want to put size on, and what if I'm doing stuff to put size on and I'm still growing, and apparently, you microwave your food, you must have no nutrients in it. Like, it's still working for me. So but just really look at the wallet and the outcome that you get and the sort of expenditure that you're putting on your foods and your supplements. Because really, as I say, supplements are an adjunct to the diet. They're an adjunct to the training. They're an adjunct to the sleep. Those are the important things that you need to nail. And if you're going to spend your money on anything, it needs to be on improving your diet and your sleep and your training, not with supplements. I know you might think, I'll just take a supplement for my sleep. It's there like, no, you should probably get some like, black light curtains that, block out the sun. Or your training, you should get like some figure of eight wrist wraps so that your grip strength doesn't give out on your back days and things like that. Instead of spending it on supplements, you can spend it on more like evergreen solutions that actually help with sleep and training and diet. And obviously in the diet sense, you could actually just buy food instead of buying supplements, because as much as that testosterone is just like 40 quid spaffed up the wall, that could be, a week shopping for some people, half a week shopping for other people. It could just be some good quality food, it could just be money that you save. Money that you don't spend is money that you save that you can invest in for the future. So just really look at the wallet and how ineffective some of these supplement purchases are, and some of these food purchases as well, because some of the fresh cuts of meat are a lot more expensive than the frozen ones, and they're not any better. Some of the red meat is very expensive for what it is. Some of the fish, even frozen fish, like frozen salmon, is not cheap. Frozen tuna is not cheap. You need to really, like, if you're like, oh my god, I spend like £120 a week on food, I must be such a hard case. It's like you probably could save a lot of money and make a lot more progress if you really, really, really fixed it up properly. But that's where I'm going to leave it. Just look at your outcomes that you actually get from the things that you spend your money on, and look at how much money you're spending on them. And if you can't really draw the connection, then I'd probably drop it out and try something else. Not a supplement, maybe a food, maybe another solution, but that's where we'll leave it. So thank you guys.